Hello, my crypto friends. Just want to jump in on a quick call here, quick live recording about Bitcoin. It is moving pretty well right now, surpassed my expectations for what it should have done this week here. I was looking at 43,000 as some pretty solid resistance, but it blew past 43 and went to 44,086. I'm going to do a screen share here and let's take a look at what it's currently trading at here too as well. So it's currently at 43,664. So it's backed off a little bit of the 44, but it's been trading around a 43.6, 43.7 number here for the last hour or so. But it's, the Bitcoin bulls are in charge. It is pretty impressive what's going on here. They're moving the markets pretty well and in control. I mean, blowing past what I thought were strong resistance around 43. Expected a pullback, and I still think there's a really good chance we're going to have a pullback here, because if we look at the Bitcoin fear and greed index here, it's at 75. So we're now at greed, and we moved up a little bit here. Last month it was 70. Last week it dropped down a little to 68, and yesterday, going up from yesterday from 74, 75, no big deal. But I think we're hitting the tired side of it. It's kind of hit its point here where it should pull back a little, most likely to the middle to upper 30s, somewhere in that range, or even it could just trade in the 42,000 range for a little while as well. But look for it could pull back to the middle 30s. The hard resistance line floor right now, you're looking at is around 30K. That's where the real hard resistance line is. And it would take something pretty catastrophic probably to push it down to that, some kind of an event happening, maybe an escalation of war or news about, stock market crash or whatever. Something like that is going to take to really knock it down. Right now, it's trading is doing beautifully as what it's done. I want to pull up this here. Let's take a look here. So this is Bitcoin historically. And again, it started in 2009. Trading view goes back here, and it was really trading at next to nothing back in the day here for a long time. And then we get to 2017 is where I jumped in. It's where I got started in the market here. And we had that great run up into December where we hit our high of, I guess it was near 20,000. Yeah, 20,000, I think it did hit. And then, it crashed in early 18. We were in a bear market 2018, all of 2019. And then, it shot up a little bit there at the end of 2019, dropped a little and had a big drop here during COVID, if you recall. And once it dropped down there, it's when I bought a bit more, and it proceeded to go skyrocketing. And a lot of this, as we know, a lot of this run up here is because of how much money was pumped into the system. A lot of helicopter money falling to people. People are getting money, they don't know where to put it. Bitcoin, cryptos are rising, so people are throwing it in there, which really gave us a good, strong bull market. And we had a double top in that particular run there in 21, 22. You see it got up pretty high here, up to the almost 65K. Then it dropped well back down. And you look at this, it dropped well back down significantly. Some pretty big drops. Then before going, it hit its all-time high of 69,000. In, I believe it was October. I want to say around October of 2022. Yeah, 31st of October here, it looks like, is when it hit its all-time high. Then it really proceeded to drop here in December. And then we hit this bear market, right? It really dropped throughout 2022. The whole year 2022, 2023, it hit its low of around 16, lower 16s in January. And then this year, it's been really the best performing asset out there. It's really shot up, but nicely. I like how much it traded sideways here in this region, which really allowed it to grow and do what it's doing now. The way I'd like to see it behave right now is, hit that 44, maybe have a little slight correction, trade sideways for a little while, and then continue that growth here into December and January. And then we're really going to be in a good spot. But we've been in a bull market here since October in Bitcoin. And you could say we're really since January, but it really wasn't a full bull market because all the altcoins were really stagnant or still dropping throughout 2023. All of them seem to have, well, all of them, most of them seem to have bottomed out, and they're on their way up now as well. Chainlink is an interesting one. It's one that usually leads the charge. It didn't lead the charge this cycle. Last two cycles it did. But it's really, it's starting to go up now. Another one I think where there's opportunity here is Litecoin, because it went up a few months back, I would say about 5 or 6 months ago, from 30s to 70s. Actually, it went over 100, and that's pulled back into the upper 60s and lower 70s, where it's been trading sideways here for a little while. So I think now is a great time to look at Litecoin. And I've always held Litecoin. I sold some when it was higher. I think I'm going to be buying some back in here, dollar cost averaging back into Litecoin. And hopefully that rides up here as Bitcoin cools off a little bit. I noticed Bitcoin Cash started to pick back up again. Bitcoin Cash has had an unbelievable run here in 2023. I mean, it went from under $100 to close to $300 at one point. So it tripled. And you get some of these coins that do that. There's other ones that have gone up over 10x, these small altcoins. I haven't hit on any of those. Unfortunately, I'm really speculative newer ones. And I've kind of stuck with the ones I've trusted for a while here. Now they're really starting to run and make their move. So we got a lot of good news going on. That's part of what's going on with Bitcoin. So you got, well, if you look here, you got the Indian government. Let me share this one here. Indian government reveals 28 crypto service providers who are registered with their financial intelligence unit. And what do you have, around 1.3, 1.4 billion people in India? So you have a lot of potential people to be buying Bitcoin over there. And for those who don't know, people from India like gold. They like precious metals, silver and gold, more so gold. And since Bitcoin is looked at as digital gold, that could be something that a lot of the people there look to get into, especially as the US dollar falters here over time. So good news there. And I didn't hit this article yet here, but Bitcoin taps 44K, surpassing Meta and Berkshire Hathaway in market capitalization. That's pretty big. When you're bigger than Facebook and you're bigger than Berkshire Hathaway, pretty big. So pretty substantial there. Let's see. Anything big on here? Let's go to some of the Bitcoin ETF info. So the approval window for Bitcoin ETFs, and that's really what I think is driving this market right now. Remember, buy the rumors, sell the news. So remember that, buy the rumors, sell the news. So we have had this window here in December, and now it's opened back up here for January because a lot of these ETFs have refiled. They refiled their applications and updated some things. BlackRock being one of them, and BlackRock actually has seed funding to start their ETF. So they're ready to run. Of course, BlackRock is the biggest of these funds out there. Not a company I'm a fan of, for sure. Not a fan of them or Vanguard. But BlackRock is going to be heavy in there. There's a lot of companies, large companies, a lot of money that's going to be going in there. Grayscale. It's another one that has a Bitcoin ETF. I believe there's between 8 and 10, if I'm not mistaken here, companies that have filed for Bitcoin ETFs. So very strong. And, once some of them get approved, you're going to see a bunch more get approved right in behind them. And don't forget, there's also Ethereum ETFs that are out there that will follow as well. Ethereum's not followed Bitcoin as much up yet, but it will. Okay. Ethereum's going to react a little bit later. And if we get news on Ethereum with the spot ETF approval, then that's going to jump as well. Again, Bitcoin's just the biggest, it's the granddaddy of all the cryptos. So that one's going to get the most fanfare out there. But Ethereum's also going to get some and move here. I think it's going to really spur a lot of other ones like Solana we've seen go up that are similar to Ethereum. Cardano, who I like to overtake Ethereum down the road. You have Polkadot. You have Avalanche. There's quite a few other that are out there that are very similar to what Ethereum is. It's just Ethereum's, the original and out there, and they've got the biggest, best developers on their that run all their different platforms. So that's why they're ahead of the game right now. But I ultimately think down the road they'll be overtaken by other companies. And I know people don't want to hear this. I'm not a Bitcoin max. I love Bitcoin. I love what it does. But I think at some point, something's going to replace Bitcoin. It may take 10, 20, 30 years for that to happen. But the technology, right? This is from 2009. This technology is the oldest. It's still slow compared to other ones. Things are going to get quicker and better. So something will ultimately be able to replace it or run side by side with it at some point. But for now, in the foreseeable future, Bitcoin is going to be the monster that leads all of them, right? And it takes off and the rest of them follow suit. So the window of opportunity here for the Bitcoin ETFs, where you'll hear the news, is between January 5th and 10th. As James Seaford here says, the window is officially the 5th and 10th, which means any potential approval are going to happen either Monday, January 8th, or Tuesday, January 9th, or Wednesday, January 10th. So just be on the lookout for that. Remember when I said buy the rumor, sell the news? You might want to buy some now. It's against what I normally say, but maybe hold it on exchange for a little while or pull it on your wallet. And then when the news comes out, sell some, take some profits, right? Take not all of it, but sell some and take some profits on it. Drops, then you buy back and you get a little bit more of it. So just look at the dollar cost average in there. But that may be a good opportunity for people who want to take some profits and use it for whatever. Inflation is killing everybody right now, so use it for living expenses. Take it to the grocery store. Like yesterday, I want to give an example. I started 2 days ago, went to Costco, and my cost for just groceries was over $450. The bill was $550, but we got a couple of pairs of sneakers and flip-flops. They were cheap, but under $100. So the cost of food continues to escalate, and we did not get a lot, less than normal. I got paper towels, tissues, things like that. Everything is just going up exponentially higher. So remember, dollar cost average, take some profits, use that when you need to, and then keep money in there, or just continue to grow your Bitcoin. So here's the BlackRock article, and it's from CoinDesk here. BlackRock and Bitwise file updated applications for the spot ETFs. Again, these are just a couple of them. Other ones out there who have applied for Bitcoin ETFs are ARK Investments, Amplify, and Roundhill, and there's others as well. But those are some of the big ones out there that are doing this here. So that's where the win is going to be between January 5th and 10th. So look for that. And what I expect to happen is a pretty substantial correction after the ETFs are approved. So let's say Bitcoin's sitting at 48 at that point. It may drop to the middle 30s. It's pretty substantial percentage-wise drop. So take the opportunity, maybe buy back in, and you're going to be able to get back in cheaper and buy more and have more Bitcoin. I've been dollar cost averaging because I'm mining Bitcoin, and I bought some here and there along the way, just dollar cost averaging in. But mining it allows me to do it every single day. And I may add more miners to it here as we get towards the halving, because the halving, every halving so far, Bitcoin goes up substantially leading into it, because otherwise you would be getting killed on your cost of electricity. The cost to run a miner would just be too substantial for the value of Bitcoin, and people would quit. And again, that's where look for down the road, because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. Once they're all mined, what are the rewards when people are done to continue the blockchain, to continue to build out the blocks as transactions? So there's got to be some kind of reward there. Not sure what that's going to be and how that's going to happen and what'll go on, but maybe that's when Bitcoin's plug gets pulled and then you go on to the next one. But the reason I like it so much, there's only going to be 21 million of them. You can't print more. It's permissionless, right? So you don't need permission just for me to send it to you for a transaction. Like you do when you go to the bank, you have third-party intermediaries that you have to go through. Well, you don't have to go through anybody here. And nobody can just steal your Bitcoin unless you're foolish enough to leave it on exchange and exchange got hacked. So I pull it off, put it in your cold storage wallets, put it on your hardware wallets, Trezor, Ledger, whatever you have. Cold storage works great too if you don't want to get a Trezor or a Ledger. All kinds of opportunities out there. All right. I'm not sure I shared this one, but here's the article from CoinDesk here on BlackRock talking about it. And let's see what Bitcoin is doing, what the market looks like right now. Okay. So 43,750 roughly. Ethereum's had a nice little run. Ethereum's had a nice run over last week, 10.5%. So it is starting to move, which is nice. Then you have stablecoin here, Tether, Binance's token here, XRP. Solana's been gone up pretty nicely here over the past week as well. Let's take a look at what's going on. Cardano even almost 10%. Doge. Don't sleep on Doge because Doge could really be a transactionally based one. It's one that started off basically as a gag, right? But as a joke, but it has turned into something when you got somebody like as powerful and rich as Elon Musk backing it, that likes it. They could use it for transactions on whether you're buying Tesla or on Twitter, to be able to pay for commercial advertising and be able to, depending on how Twitter or X now changes its platform, you may need Doge to operate and do stuff on there. And I still think it's bargain, 9 cents. So decent one to be in there. Again, Chainlink going up almost 7.75% here over the past week. Avalanche has had a nice move here, 15+%. Polygon, which is Matic. Don't forget they do have a deal with Disney, and that's going to be solid. Toncoin, another solid one here. Polkadot, which I've always liked, they hopefully will continue to grow. They do a lot in the gaming space, but they also are an Ethereum, competitor to an extent here. Shiba Inu is just kind of like Dogecoin, okay, but it's like Dogecoin Lite. So Litecoin again hasn't moved a ton. Definitely good opportunity here. Bitcoin Cash 250. This was just 230 the other day, or last week here, so it's gone up pretty nicely here, almost 12%. Cosmos has it's one of the most underrated cryptos out there. Big platform, a lot of other cryptos involved on a Cosmos eco chain. So remember that you get these layer ones and you get these layer twos that go on, and layer threes. You get all these different cryptos that are involved with it. Persistence is one I like. It's built on the Cosmos blockchain. Persistence is XPRT, very difficult to get. I think you get it on KuCoin, and otherwise you got to go over the counter exchange like Caleb and Brown, who I use. Good solid one. Stellar Lumens, XLM, which is like XRP. Monero. Again, I like Monero because nobody knows who's doing transaction. It's completely hidden. It's something I think always will have some pretty good value. It's been around for a while. Ethereum Classic, not bullish on that one, but it's okay. Near Protocol, very solid one. Thorchain, solid. Hedera Hashgraph will be around for a while. The price point is exceptionally well priced, 6.5% or 6.5 cents. It's definitely one to look at here, Hedera, in my opinion. I'm a fan of it. VeChain, like that one long term. Optimism, like that one long term. The Graph, Aave. Biggest player in the DeFi space, Aave, is under $100 is still a bargain, I believe. Injective, Protocol, solid. Some really good ones out here. Multiverse, you get out there and some of these different, whether it's Web3 based things or gaming and the metaverse. Some of these are pretty solid plays out there, but there's so many. Theta is one I'm really bullish on, and a lot of different reasons. I think they have 9 or somewhere between 9 and 12 patents on their blockchain. I don't think anybody else has more than 2. But it's really, the markets are moving pretty well here. Expect to pull back here. We are Tuesday. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised to see it pull back a bit today. I want to talk about the futures and where you'll be able to trade those once the ETF is available out there. So let me remove this real quick. So once the ETF becomes available, you're going to be able to do futures trading on Coinbase as well as a CME group. So for those of you who have Coinbase account, most people do. Coinbase was the most common one here in the States anyway to use for a while. They're still affordable. Binance.us is good too. Several different good ones out there. But if you want to do over the counter, don't want to have to worry about being on an exchange, maybe you want to look at Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a good solid firm. I'll try to put a link in the description here of this one later on so you guys can sign up for Caleb and Brown and get a discount. They do charge a 5% fee, but if you use my affiliate code there, you only pay 3.5%. It's still sizable, but remember this: when you're buying and when you're selling, when the market gets really volatile, trades will get crashed. It'll crash through your price, and it won't happen whether you're buying or selling. A lot of times, go to Caleb or Brown over the counter firm; they will all be transacted there. different setup than they have at these exchanges. So it's easier for them to do, and you're going to get closer or at your price point there much more often than you will in one of these exchanges. That's something to think about. You can set up different price points you want to sell at, a percentage of your portfolio you want to sell out, of each crypto you want to sell it at. A lot of things you can do with Caleb and Brown. Gemini is a solid exchange too here in the US. Coinbase would be the number one. Crypto.com, another decent one out there, app-based one that you can use. But again, these are all going to be glitchy and have some issues here and there. So remember that. It's important to know when you're looking at exchanges where to buy. But remember, the biggest, most important thing is pull them off the exchange unless you plan on trading it. Unless you're going to keep, maybe, let's say you buy some Bitcoin, decent amount of it, and you want to sell 10 or 20% when it goes to a certain price, leave 10 or 20% there on a platform so you can then trade it and sell it and make sure you cash out at that price. So dollar cost average buying in. I'm a big fan of dollar cost averaging buying out too. So as it moves up, you set different price points, you sell, take some of that profit, use it for living expenses, use it for another investment. I'll use some for real estate. I'll use some for other investments, maybe pay off some my kids' student loans or just pay for the school. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. Just wanted to hit you guys up here and let you know what's going on here in the market. And good luck. If you're a trader, good luck with that. I personally don't trade. I like the dollar cost average in here, but every once in a while I'll dabble in it, but not very often. It's to me, it's a loser's game. I just don't do it well enough. All right, guys, good luck. Catch you on the next video.